play for the ACC championship and a home-loaded back end of the schedule. The Hokies feeling very good about where they sit. Georgia Tech won the toss. They defer. Hokies will take a short kickoff and have the ball first across the 20 to the 25. In Blacksburg, what'd you think about all the pomp and circumstance?
When it's built up like that, you expect it to be all right. That was as good as advertised, and it exceeded expectations. That was absolutely thrilling.
Well, you and I will talk a lot about the quarterback. We heard Laura talk about this kid who transferred from Kansas who's going to lead. First down, that's Stephen Peoples, and he is still going. Well, what a good beginning for the Hokies offense. "17 yards on the first play from scrimmage for Virginia Tech. The two Techs in the ACC. Hope you brought your engineering chops to the booth here tonight. Willis will hand it off again. This time not much running room for Peoples, who stopped right in the line of scrimmage.
Ryan Willis in a tough spot, filling in for Josh Jackson. Walk on, has a chip on his shoulder, but he's very talented. The only thing he needs to work on as he progresses is consistent decision making, not just in the pass game, but the run game too.
Well, play fake. He's going to throw the ball for the first time. He's got all the time in the world. He's going deep, and it's just a little too far. Intended for Eric Kuma. It'll be third down.
Trying to find number 83, Eric Kuma. Just a little bit too far with the passes.
Good decision by Ryan Willis. Just a little too much adrenaline after enter Sandman. When you hear that, of course you're going to throw the ball 2 or 3 yards further than you would in practice. Got to take a little bit off of it, a little more air. He'll get into the swing of things, though, as the game progresses.
Well, I thought it was interesting to hear from Laura about how emotional he was during the whole pregame ceremony. Willis takes off and runs. He is maybe a better athlete than some would give him credit for, and he got just enough to get the Virginia Tech first down.
Really nice job by Ryan Willis. Escapes the pocket, 3rd and long. A couple weeks ago against North Carolina, game on the line, it was 4th and long. Very similar looking play. Escapes to his right, recognizes man coverage, and bursts forward for a fresh set of downs.
Different tailback, and the Hokies will rotate a bunch of them. Deshaun McLeese comes in the game, number 33. You see him behind Ryan Willis. McLeese will get the play fake, and that quick slant on a missed tackle. There goes Virginia Tech. Trey Turner, the true freshman. Touchdown. 46 yards. Did not take long.
The thing you want to do more than anything else is a fast start. The Hokies offense provides it. A little slant to the freshman, Trey Turner, turns on.
Ends in the end zone. Virginia Tech 7-0 lead. A touchback, and now we get to play. Who's going to start at quarterback for the Yellow Jackets? We don't know. We're finding out as Georgia Tech heads on the field. It looks like number 8, Tobias Oliver, will start for the first time.
Yeah, and Tobias Oliver has filled in admirably for the injured Taquan Marshall. You see him on the sideline, just not at 100%. They say it's an upper body injury, but Oliver is more than capable of running this offense at a high level. Had to come in the USF game, played very well, played really nicely in the second half of last game. He's very capable in this triple option set.
Just because he hasn't been the starter does not mean that he hasn't played. He's played a lot this year. Under center, he will keep the ball on first down for Georgia Tech and get 5 yards. Let's go get down to Laura.
Dave, both Marshall and Oliver took a pretty even amount of warm-up reps before this game, and even just before they were running out on the field, Oliver and Marshall both together warming their hands, and then Marshall put his helmet on as well right when Oliver did. So it'll be interesting to see if we see both of these guys in this game.
Well, we were not kidding when we said we didn't know. They didn't tell us. We had no idea. Little option. Oliver ran into a blocker, but still was able to surge forward and get a Georgia Tech first down.
And the good news is for Georgia Tech is their scheme doesn't change. You can put in whatever quarterback they have. They're going to run the same plays within their offensive sets. Shouldn't adjust much with Oliver in the game as opposed to Marshall.
Looks like Dylan Rivers, who is going to limp off the field, will take a break and come back to Blacksburg after this. Of drone research here at Virginia Tech. It's a little quieter right now than it was this afternoon because I'm sure just about everybody associated with this school is inside Lane Stadium for this ACC game. Georgia Tech, Virginia Tech back to action here. It'll be 1st and 10 Yellow Jackets. 7-0 Hokies lead. Dave Fleming, Greg McElroy, Laura Rutledge with you. Flags thrown, and that was a procedure penalty against Georgia Tech.
Ball start. Offense. Number 50. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Andrew Marshall, the right tackle. Flag for the penalty. Paul Johnson does not like that.
No, this is not an offense that's built to play off schedule. Triple option, you got to average 3.5, 4 yards a carry at minimum, because if you're behind the sticks, they are not very comfortable just dropping back and playing pure progression passing game.
Cersei into the backfield. Oliver keeps it. Oliver out into the open, and a tackle that saved a much bigger gain. Still a nice run for the redshirt freshman.
It's a great job by Diablo making that play at the 3rd level. And you see a little bit of what Tobias Oliver's capable of. He hits that ground with the left foot, bursts north and south. You can see the explosiveness from the quarterback.
Gain of about 11 yards. 2nd down. Oliver again, that left side bounced off one would-be tackler, gets a first down.
Once again, number 8 Tobias Oliver keeps the ball.
This Georgia Tech offense, Paul Johnson's been running this system for a long time. This year, number 1 in the country in rushing yards, better than 350 a game.
They are so sound at what they do, and they've adjusted a little bit. Maybe not as many reads between the fullback and the quarterback as they once did. Maybe a few more pullers along the offensive line. But the base package is true, and it's working as good now as it ever has.
1st and 10, and right up the middle, the tackle for Virginia Tech. Dax Hollifield shot right into the backfield. Jerry Howard tripped up.
Dax Hollifield's a guy that Virginia Tech fans are going to be watching for a while. He's a true freshman, and he's just now starting to come into his own. I'm a big believer in what he's eventually going to become. Has great instincts. He's going to be an outstanding linebacker for the Hokies for quite some time.
And he is wearing, as a true freshman, the honorary number 25, Frank Beamer's number that has been long retired. But they give it to a different player every week. Oliver tried to bounce off and could not do it. He goes down. It's going to be 3rd and long. Jarrett Hewitt led the way.
No gain on the play. 55 Jarrett Hewitt on the tackle for the Hokies.
There's Coach Beamer. We had a chance to visit with him yesterday. Long time, one of the all-time greats in the history of this sport. And still, even though he is retired from the sideline, is a presence in this program every day.
Yeah, he is the epitome of college football. And of course, nothing is more synonymous with Virginia Tech than Frank Beamer. Glad to know he's still so supportive of Justin Fuente and his team.
3rd and 8. Yellow Jackets are going to have to throw the ball. Oliver gets away from one would-be sacker and another. Oliver is going to get the first down. He's still inbounds and finally driven out at about the Virginia Tech 35. Wow.
What a great individual effort by Tobias Oliver. It looks like he's going to be brought down in the backfield. His left tackle, Quinney, is beat. He makes a guy miss, then makes another. He's got a convoy out in front. It's no secret that this is an inexperienced Virginia Tech defense. They've been a little up and down from a tackling standpoint. There on display as Oliver converts.
It's the youngest defense Bud Foster has ever had. There are only 2 players who have ever started a game against this triple option offense on the Virginia Tech side. Well, there is Bud Foster, the longest tenured assistant coach in the country. He's been here at Virginia Tech for 32 straight years. He's one of the all-time defensive greats.
Yeah, he's amazing, and just so much consistency. And his teams, this one's young, but it's still the same principles. We're going to be physical. We're going to be sound. We're going to do everything we possibly can to affect the quarterback. He does a great job on an annual basis.
2nd and 9. Oliver, option, keeps, spins away. It'll be 3rd down, and let's say hi again to Laura.
Dave, one of those 2 players on this Virginia Tech defense that has seen the triple option before of Georgia Tech, Ricky Walker, he said he was trying to explain to some of these young guys what they might see, but he said, look, the reality of it is it may take an entire series to get fully used to it. You just can't replicate it accurately in practice, guys.
And Laura, when you're trying to rep it in practice, oftentimes your scout team offense doesn't use a football because they want you just to work on the principles of stopping the run, but man, it happens fast on game day.
3rd and 3. Oliver again keeps it. He has not pitched it yet, and he gets the 1st down inside the 25. It is interesting. Bud Foster's defensive numbers against the triple option, not bad over these last few years. Generally, they've held Georgia Tech below its per-game rushing average. But the Yellow Jackets have been the pain in the side for the Hokies. They've won 3 of the last 4. Justin Fuente has never beaten Georgia Tech. This is his 3rd crack at it. This has been the problem program in the Coastal for the Hokies. 1st and 10. Handoff straight ahead. This time a much better gain inside the 10. It's going to be 1st and goal. Jerry Howard.
This is the most important position for Virginia Tech's defense tonight. They have to slow down the B-back. That's what he's named within this offense, but it's technically the fullback. That fullback dive sets everything up for this Georgia Tech offense. It's option number 1. In the triple option, this is the first option. They have to find a way to limit the production from the B-back.
So it's 1st and goal. There's the B-back and untouched into the end zone. So Georgia Tech answers, goes right down the field. It is the B-back, Jerry Howard, an extra point away from tying this game.
Just a terrific answer by Georgia Tech. First 4 rushes of the game. It's Tobias Oliver, their backup quarterback, filling in. He makes a play on 3rd down, and then it's the fullback the rest of the way. Very impressive start coming off the bye week for the Yellow Jackets.
Oliver and Howard were the only 2 who carried the ball on that drive. For the Yellow Jackets, they overcame a penalty. They overcame a 3rd and long. Extra point is up and good. So a quick start on both sides, and there's that B-back. We're going to give you a little education in triple option football as we go along tonight. Into the end zone for Georgia Tech to Texas. Every game getting more and more important for the Longhorns. On the road in Stillwater under the lights against Oklahoma State. Presented by Walmart, 8 Eastern on ABC. It'll be live on the ESPN app. You can watch it anywhere. And you figure Oklahoma State, whatever term you want to use, circle the wagons, try to regroup, bye week, get ready for Texas coming in. You figure they will be ready for that game.
And the last time they were a home underdog was against Boise State, and they beat the Broncos pretty good. So the Longhorns need to be very careful going to Stillwater.
Flag thrown, and a return here for the Hokies across the 25, right to the 25. There was a penalty flag right back at the line of scrimmage. 7-7. Offense on both sides. First drive.
Offside. Kicking team. Number 28. That 5-yard penalty will be added on to the end of the run. First
So
down.
we talked about that Big 12 game. Our weekend menu served up to you by Zaxby's. Greg, you will be in Starkville from Blacksburg to Starkville, Texas A&M, Mississippi State. Not the only big game in the SEC.
No, obviously Florida, Georgia, or Georgia, Florida, depending on which side of the rivalry you're on. Huge one there in the East.
From Jacksonville, this quick hitter from Ryan Willis, and the Virginia Tech offense out to the right side, caught by Damon Hazelton. Just a great contrast of how these two offenses go about it. Both ended up with touchdowns. Hokies did it in 5 plays, a minute and a half. Georgia Tech 12 plays methodically down the field, 6.5 minutes. Handoff left side. Peoples, nice cut, bounces it to the corner. Peoples to midfield, and Stephen Peoples into Georgia Tech territory. The Hokies are getting yards in big chunks early.
Man, I'm telling you what, when you watch Virginia Tech, one of the first guys that jumps out is 32, Stephen Peoples. He's a well-rounded back. He's not only good on the stretch zone like he was right there, but he's also good as a pass catcher out of the backfield. Definitely been their most consistent running back this year.
Yeah, wait till you see his hands. I mean, he can catch the ball. Play fake. Willis deep down the right sideline. And caught in stride. Touchdown. Hazelton. The contrast in styles. That's 2 quick strikes for Virginia Tech in the first quarter. Extra point is up and good.
Well, Ryan Willis overthrew his first deep ball on his first pass attempt of the night. Wasn't going to happen the second time around. He finds Damon Hazelton on the go route, runs right by the defender and reels it in stride. Quick.
Lane Stadium, the fireworks inside the stadium. 2 40-plus yard touchdown plays for the Hokies in the first quarter. And a touchback. Yellow Jackets are going to get the ball back. Let's go down to Laura.
Well, Dave, we told you that this Virginia Tech defense thought that it might take them about a series to get used to the triple option offense, especially considering that they are inexperienced. Bud Foster was just telling him what we saw Tobias Oliver do for Georgia Tech. He said, that's just quarterback sweep. You guys have seen that all the time. You need to defend it the way that we usually would and not just be confused by the fact that it's triple option and you've got that in your head.
That's good stuff, and we'll see if they play a little differently here. Second time the defense on the field. Virginia Tech's rushing defense this year has been excellent. Of course, very different challenge tonight. 1st and 10. Oliver, the redshirt freshman, will get drilled. Maybe that's what the defensive coordinator was looking for.
Yeah, they stem to a little bear front. Stem to that old 50 front where there's 5 defensive linemen there right on the line of scrimmage. And Hoshan Gaines comes from the backside and chases down Tobias Oliver. That was the quarterback sweep or something similar. Clearly they made the adjustment. It worked out this time around like Laura alluded to.
And Paul Johnson, who doesn't need a play sheet, doesn't need a cheat card, just stands over there and calls plays as the head coach. The pitch on 2nd down to the corner and around the corner, and a big hit right along the sideline. Nathan Cottrell with the carry. It'll be 3rd down. Khalil Ladler, the sophomore, put the big hit on.
Oh, interesting here on a 3rd and 3. They have their whole playbook in their arsenal, and that whole playbook resides in Paul Johnson's head. You would expect them to work to the field, though. You work it to Tobias Oliver's left, where they have a little more room to pick up these 3 yards.
Oliver, and he goes left and did not get it. He got dropped just a little bit short. That was Ladler again. That was at the part of the field where Georgia Tech would consider going for it. I don't know.
At this point of the game,
I think he wants to.
It certainly looks like it. I'm just surprised still that they came to the right. The boundary, the sideline is the 12th defender. I'm really surprised that they opted to go to the right to break tendency. But here on 4th and short, you have to assume it's going to be Oliver on the quarterback keep behind the fullback, who's lined up right behind the quarterback, number 24, Jordan Mason.
They're not going for it. They were trying to draw the Hokies offside. They got the timeout before. Have probably defined Thursday night college football more than any other program over the years. 14-7 lead, and their defense comes up with a stop. It's close to Halloween, although they dress up every football night of the year here in Blacksburg. And guess what? Out of the timeout, they're not punting. They're going to go for it. Pitches, and Georgia Tech will get the 1st down and plenty more across the 40 out to the 43-yard line. How about that? Act like you're just trying to draw the defense offside, call the timeout, but no punt.
It's amazing. And then they go with the wide toss sweep with blockers out in front into the boundary. You don't have a lot of space from the sideline to the near hash, and they just worked it 2 plays in a row and found some room there on the 4th down conversion.
That time it was Searcy, the wing back, what they call the A-back. This time it's Cottrell, another A-back, left side running with a blocker ahead. He gets a first down.
And that's kind of what you've come to expect, is working that wide toss sweep to the field. There's just so much room that you have to account for if you're a defense. Usually when you see these triple option principles from Georgia Tech, most of the time they're going to work it where they have additional room. So in this particular case, it would be Tobias Oliver's right.
Georgia Tech has dominated the time of possession. Part of that is the Hokies offense has scored so fast. The B-back gets it and straight ahead running for a nice gain and maybe just a little trip short of a touchdown. Jordan Mason.
3-yard line. First down for Georgia Tech.
I mean, look at this surge with all the blockers going down, cut blocking, and 2 or 3 Hokie defenders find their way on the ground. Look at those on the backside. 3 or 4 guys. You see the surge in the cutback lane there for Mason to get through.
The bowling ball effect. The defenders were on the floor. Oliver, some powerful running from the redshirt freshman quarterback who started this game. He got knocked out of bounds. Now a penalty flag comes in late. The Yellow Jackets were arguing for it along the sideline. I think that's going to be against the Hokies. Is that Dax Hollifield, the true freshman?
After the play was over, personal foul, late hit, out of bounds. Number 25, defense. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
Wearing that honorary number 25.
And a freshman move here. Just coming in late.
Wow, I don't know. He was right along that sideline. Maybe the play was blown dead.
Yeah, I mean, you can see too. I mean, Lackler's got him. Yeah, it's late. Yeah, it's definitely a good call by these officials. You just got to keep your wits about you and understand where you're at on the field if you're the freshman defender.
Oliver keeps and gets wrestled inside the 10. Part of the challenge of playing against a triple option team like Georgia Tech, your offense spends a lot of time on the sideline, and it is a challenge for a quarterback, for a play caller.
Yeah, I mean, you can see Ryan Willis, starting quarterback, he's sweating. It's a little chilly out here in Blacksburg, but in the frustration and the feeling as an offense, feeling helpless. You know, a feeling like you can't do anything to help prevent your defense getting gashed on the ground. It's really a desperate feeling.
Hokies still do have the lead. Oliver's going to keep it. Oliver goes down. It'll be 3rd down, not quite 3rd and goal. They can get a first down at around the 2-yard line. Already the final minute of this first quarter.
Rayshard Ashby has had to leave the field. He's their most productive defensive player from a tackle standpoint. Him not being on the field here on 3rd and short, deep in their own end, is a disadvantage. He had to come off because he lost his shoe.
Oliver under center. Oliver will keep and get the first down. Down to the 1. 1st and goal, Georgia Tech. They have not thrown the ball in this first quarter, which surprises nobody, including Bud Foster.
I mean, last year against Bud Foster's vaunted lunch pail defense, they completed 2 passes, and it was for 140 yards. So do not expect Georgia Tech to come out here and try to throw it around much. When they throw it, it's to surprise you, that's for sure.
They completed 2 passes and won the game. Touchdown. Oliver keeps, and we are an extra point away from tying this game up again. What a contrast in the way these two teams go about it here in this first 15 minutes. Amazing.
Georgia Tech with 1:12 play 75-yard touchdown drive that takes 6 minutes and 30 seconds. And they come right back on their next possession with a 4th down conversion. And have an 11-play, 5-minute and 37-second touchdown drive. So tough to mount when your team can play ball control like that.
15 minutes of football. Georgia Tech has had it for more than 12 of those minutes, and they have tied the game up.
I mean, Tobias Oliver really has done a nice job so far. Just understanding where he has numbers, making good sound decisions. Right there, they just go with the quarterback lead, following Mason, who's lead blocking. Right there on Rayshard Ashby. And that's 2 touchdowns that were relatively uncontested running the football for Georgia Tech. Virginia Tech's defense has to find some answers at some point, because this play count and this time of possession, it's really difficult to sustain throughout 4 quarters.
Well, you can see why Paul Johnson gave the start to his freshman quarterback. Taquan Marshall's got some good numbers, good running numbers, but he may have decided that Oliver makes this offense a little more explosive, and so far that looks to be the case. Kickoff will send Virginia Tech back inside the 5. Peoples across the 25, upended. I think the special teams tackler took the worst end of that for the Yellow Jackets. How about the efficiency of Willis and the Virginia?
Defender squatted at 10 yards. It's been a great start for the Kansas transfer.
There have been 4 total passes thrown in this game combined, and 2 touchdown passes for the Hokies. That will be the final play of a wild first quarter, which has shown off the strengths and the weak. Quarter number 2, 14-14. Dave Fleming, Greg McElroy, Laura Rutledge with you. If we had our way every year on Thursday night, we would have a game here in Blacksburg. No better venue. The Hokies and the Yellow Jackets, Virginia Tech football, and a play fake. Nice little dump down pass to the tight end. That's Dalton Keene, who puts a hit on at the end of that play.
Virginia Tech's quarterback Ryan Willis, obviously an accomplished football player, but in high school he was a baseball pitcher. He said he had a fastball, changeup, curveball, and a knuckle curve, and he actually picked up a baseball recently. Guys, he told me he was throwing 96. I don't know who was on the gun for that one, but he says 96.
Hot gun, I think. A little jet sweep action there from Willis. We saw the changeup on the play before. We've seen the deep ball. He's shown some touch underneath. Ryan Willis, great start to this game.
He's a thrower, man. I mean, he really does a nice job when he's decisive and he knows where he's going with the football. He can execute every throw on the field. I mean, he's got a big-time arm, and the accuracy is well above average. Just the consistent decision-making, but that comes with playing time and continuing to accumulate reps throughout the week.
Penalty flag thrown right before the ball was snapped. I think somebody moved.
False start. Offense. Number 77. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Can you imagine? That's the true freshman Christian Darasaw, left tackle, starting as a true freshman, which is heady stuff for a guy they think has a chance to be a really good one. Can you imagine the difference for Ryan Willis? We love the Jayhawks. We love going to Lawrence. Great place, great college town.
Make sure you qualify it, yes.
But the football atmosphere and the success on the field, a little different transferring from Kansas here to Blacksburg. And this scene on a Thursday night, swing pass right side, in stride. Peoples, what a nice move. He gets the first down into Georgia Tech territory.
Yeah, it's another level here in Blacksburg as a flag flies.
Yeah, behind the play. That could be bad news for Virginia Tech.
Personal foul. Hands to the face. Defense.
No.
Number 45. 15-yard penalty from the end of the line. First down.
Wow, so that just adds on. Charlie Thomas, true freshman linebacker. We talked about the true freshman left tackle. He's been playing a lot of snaps recently for Georgia Tech.
Not quite as young on defense as Virginia Tech, but there is some youth. You can see 45 right in the middle of your screen. Look at that hand going up to the face.
And he did not let go.
He did not.
He had that face mask for a while. Peoples gets driven, but stays on his feet. Wow. How about the start to this game for Stephen Peoples, the senior? who came to Virginia Tech as a walk-on.
I'm telling you, this guy is so underrated. He just doesn't go down on initial contact, and because he's so low to the ground, he's a little bit like Maurice Jones-Drew. Maybe he's 3 inches taller than Maurice Jones-Drew, which is wild because he's only listed at 5'9", but that low center of gravity allows him to spin off of would-be tacklers and fall forward most of the time.
He's got 46 rushing yards, 13 receiving yards already in this game. Play fake over the top, Willis. That's another Hokies first down. It looks like Dalton Keene lunged and got it down to the 20. They like this guy, the sophomore from Littleton, Colorado. Good athlete at the tight end position.
Yeah, he was the hero a couple weeks ago against North Carolina. He does have nice hands. He can improve significantly as a blocker, but like most young players, I'm sure when he was in high school in Littleton, Colorado, he's not blocking. That guy's catching passes because he's a playmaker. Work in progress as a blocker, but an accomplished playmaker catching the ball.
Willis, handoff, Peoples. Inside the 20 down to about the 17-yard line. Hokies on the move. Everybody has scored every time they've had the ball early in this game, and that Virginia Tech defense badly needed some rest on the sideline.
Yeah, they faced 23 offensive snaps in that first quarter, and when you run at that pace, they play against drives that were that long. This was a huge drive for Virginia Tech to give that defense a bit of a rest.
Willis kept it. Good ball handling, and he dives forward. Did not go into a slide. It'll be first and goal, Virginia Tech. What a wild game we have going with a long way to go. It's just the second quarter, but it has been all offense on both sides. On that fly sweep action toward the pylon. What a tough run. Touchdown. Wow. Hezekiah Grimsley, he did not just gently go out of bounds. He saw the end zone and was going for it.
Yeah, and a great job on the perimeter.
Hey, that's your guy.
Yeah, there he is.
He's learning how to block.
Does he get in? Oh, it's close.
I thought he did. I didn't think that knee touched before he got the ball over the goal line.
It's just a really nice job. Where's the ball at that point? Of course, every scoring play is reviewed. This one looks like it's going to stand for sure. That's just a great job on the perimeter, holding blocks, and it's close. Where's the nose of the football?
Elbow goes down. Elbow's down, but I think the ball is at the goal line when it touches right there. I think so.
And over to overturn it, you have to have indisputable video evidence to overturn. That angle, you can't see the nose of the football, so that's an inconclusive angle. It's just really difficult to see where that ball is, and as soon as it breaks the plane, it's a touchdown.
Bob Welch, who is our replay official, part of this ACC crew. Ted Jackson back in Greensboro, the veteran official who's now a coordinator of replay for the ACC. Those two will work in tandem, and no knee down, elbow down there. To me, that nose of the football is right at the goal line.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't see anything from those angles that would lead me to overturn the original call on the field. So that would lead me as an official to say this call would stand. I can't confirm it, but I don't have enough indisputable video evidence to overturn it.
When they start to chat like this, it makes you think they're going to put some time back on and maybe put the ball, start to say, okay, what's the clock? Where's the ball going to be spotted? And that's one where it's, to me, this isn't really a complaint, but okay, we've taken a few looks at it. Can we tell? Yes, no, no, okay, touchdown.
There's nothing that I could see that could tell. I mean, you see that arm go down. I saw his body was still vertical. Looked like his left arm was what was down originally. You're right, when it takes this long, sometimes they're looking at the spot, looking at the clock, a few other things. So if they overturn it, they must see something from that left elbow that leads them to think it could be a little short.
Yes, the ball could have been just a few inches short. Where's the nose of the football?
The ball carrier's left elbow was down prior to the ball crossing the goal line. It'll be second down from the 1-foot yard line.
I disagree with that call. I can't tell without a shadow of a doubt that nose of the football doesn't cross the plane. I mean, that to me is not indisputable. And I understand they want to get it right, and the ACC does a tremendous job. I would have to disagree with what they saw in the replay booth.
So we'll see if the Hokies can punch it in. 2nd and goal. Willis under center will try to keep it and force his way in. That football was close, but they spot him short, and we could have another replay coming. Well, they say he did not get in. Willis, who's not a huge guy, he's tall.
And you look at the surge underneath by Adams, number 90. I mean, he goes right underneath Zachariah Hoyt and kind of stops the forward momentum of the QB sneak. Good job by the Tech defensive lineman.
So here we go. This is obviously very important after they overturn that touchdown. Willis, is he going to try it again? He does, and this time with some help from behind, he's in. No replay required, touchdown. I think Stephen Peoples helped him out from behind.
Anything if you're Virginia Tech, same result. You give your defense an extra couple minutes rest.
Worked out okay.
Serve as a positive. But you can see the surge on the right-hand side, and when you're doing that quarterback sneak, you just gotta kind of fall forward and just feel where your offensive line is getting a little movement.
Virginia Tech student section already on the national watch list. Go to ESPN.com/Taco Bell to see how your school can compete. You think Halloween is fun in Blacksburg? I do believe the answer is yes.
It's good to see Thor made it out to the game tonight. That's terrific.
And a lot of his friends, too. Another touchback. Let's go down to Laura Rutledge.
Well, Dave, earlier in this game, we saw Dylan Rivers, a starting outside linebacker for Virginia Tech, go down. He's dealing with a right ankle injury. They're calling it a sprain. They did take him to the locker room for x-rays. As you can see, he will not return to this game. But one good thing for Virginia Tech is they have Dax Hollifield in that spot as well, a guy that Greg likes a lot.
Yeah, he's very capable, Laura. And you hate to see Dylan Rivers go down. But there won't be much drop-off in protection and production from Rivers to Holyfield. It's a freshman. He's done a great job.
Can the Hokies slow down this triple option offense? Oliver, who has carried the ball over and over early in this game. That's his 16th rush. Now a penalty flag thrown. A helmet ripped off. Holyfield was in on the play. And he's wondering what just happened. Kid from the state of North Carolina. Son of a coach.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 8, 15-yard penalty, first down. The offensive player whose helmet came off may remain in the game.
Ricky Walker asking for an explanation. You don't need one of those. Oh, you can see his left hand grasp the side of that helmet. Face mask extended. Bud Foster looks on in a little dismay. His defense has really not been their usual self so far this season. A lot of youth on that side of the football going up against a very confusing offense to figure out.
So a first down after the penalty. Oliver, a little spin to the opposite direction. A late pitch. Good decision for a nice gain out to midfield. That's Jerry Howard. That B-back, fullback for the Yellow Jackets.
He's run this option offense so many different ways. Right there, it's counter option. You see Oliver actually open to his right, and then he turns back to his left and bursts with a little speed option and a lead blocker out in front. It's so challenging to get a read on where they're going and how they're going to get there.
Starting to see more of the variety, the different looks. Oliver cut it upfield and enough strength. Man, he is tough to get to the ground. That's the first down for Georgia Tech. Well, kick off your Week 8 NFL Sunday with ESPN at 10 a.m. Eastern. It's NFL Countdown, our Sunday NFL Countdown crew. All the early breaking stories, injury updates, previewing every game. Presented by Snickers. It'll stream live on the ESPN app. If you're out and about on Sunday morning, you can watch the guys on the go. Get you ready for the upcoming weekend, Sunday of NFL games. We're here in Blacksburg College football on this Thursday night. Oliver keeps after the fake dive and gets tackled right at the line of scrimmage. There's Rashard Ashby, the kid you were talking about, who has played well. Not a huge, tall, towering presence at middle linebacker. Kind of doesn't look the part in some ways, but the sophomore has been very productive.
Yeah, he's generously listed at 5'10". I'm not sure he's quite there, but when you watch Virginia Tech on defense, yeah, there's some inconsistencies, especially in the secondary. But there's one thing you can guarantee is that 23 is going to consistently be around the football.
Tobias Oliver, another counter option, pitches, and the ball's on the turf. The ball's loose, and Georgia Tech has it. Ricky Walker tried to scoop it and run with it instead of just falling on the ball. That was there for the taking, and Virginia Tech lets Georgia Tech off the hook.
And Tobias Oliver shows his inexperience for the first time, pitching it out in front of Howard. And Ricky Walker trying to scoop and score, big fella. Just hop on it, pounce on it. A nice job by Georgia Tech covering it up yet again, but a 3rd and long is a very difficult proposition for an offense built like this.
Maybe a mistake from Walker, but credit Howard. That was a good, quick recovery. Maybe the first pass of the game. We haven't had one for Georgia Tech. Oliver fell down. As he released, he fell to the turf. It's incomplete, and it's 4th down. So the first pass demonstrates why the Yellow Jackets don't pass very often.
All you young quarterbacks out there, now this is a little tongue-in-cheek, but you always throw with your feet. Look at these feet. You see the slip. As a result, there's no chance you can be accurate throwing the football. You got to set your feet, you got to plant, and you got to deliver the ball accurately. Oliver had a man downfield, just could not deliver the throw.
Presley Harvin, first punt, some contact, and a flag is thrown. So the punt return here for the Hokies, but this one is not going to count, and we'll see what kind of penalty that is. In the backfield, this will be an important call, and it's running into the kicker. Not roughing the kicker, just 5 yards. And Paul Johnson is telling the officials what he wants to do.
Running into the kicker. Defense. 5-yard penalty. We'll replay. 4th down.
They're going to punt again.
Man, I know you have a long, proud history on special teams here at Virginia Tech, but your defense gets their first stop of the game. Your offense, by the way, has been running through Georgia Tech's defense like a hot knife through butter, and you decide to try to go after and block a punt. I don't understand that. You only put yourself in a very difficult spot. They're fortunate there that it was only a running into the kicker, not a potential bigger collision that would take place as they were trying to block the kick.
So another punt and another penalty flag. Georgia Tech move. So the 5 yards they just got, they're going backwards.
Offense, number 10, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Paul unhappy. So let's try this again. It's just a punt.
3rd time's a charm. It's just a punt. Try saying that against a Virginia Tech team who blocks 1 million kicks a year.
Frank Beamer, he started that tradition where special teams scoring non-offensive touchdowns was such a big part of this program. Fair catch, and it's muffed. Muffed by the Hokies. Georgia Tech's going to have the ball. Wow. Special teams mistake, and a huge one. From Sean Savoy, it looked like to me. He has not been their ordinary punt return man. Yeah, that's not Damon Hazelton. Wow. Right off his face mask.
Man. I mean, that one hurts. If you're Virginia Tech, your defense is feeling so good. First stop of the ball game, and next thing you know, sudden change of possession. And Georgia Tech has forced a lot of turnovers. That one was given to them by this Hokie special teams group.
What a mistake. So now the Yellow Jackets inside the 15 with that triple option right back on the field. And they're looking to take advantage of it inside the 5 or close to it for Tobias Oliver. Well, that's interesting because Savoy has not been the primary punt returner for the Hokies. And they didn't tell us that a change was coming. Not that he's not capable of doing it. But he has not had an official punt return yet this year.
And especially when you're just going to fair catch it, likely at the 10. I mean, surprised you wouldn't put your most sure-handed guy back there in Damon Hazelton.
Jordan Mason is the B-back. He gets the ball. Touchdown. What a turnover and what a turnaround for the Yellow Jackets. That one hurts the Hokies. 21-20 with an extra point coming.
This fullback dive, especially in this part of the field, has been very good for Georgia Tech here in the first 24 minutes of this ball game. Both Mason and Howard have had some opportunities right up the middle. That was just a huge turn of events here midway through the second quarter.
A program, Virginia Tech, that prides itself and has for decades on special teams play, creating big plays on special teams. Well, this was a big play on special teams, just not the way that the Hokies dream it up. After the defense forces a punt for the first time all game right off the face mask. Yellow Jackets were there to recover Moon, and the teams are playing like it. 50 plays from scrimmage, 23 first downs, 6 touchdowns, weird special teams, and just a wild first half from Blacksburg. The Hokies and the Yellow Jackets, 21 apiece. We've had divisional play in the ACC 13 years. In the Coastal side, this side of the ACC, one of these two teams has won the Coastal 10 of those 13. Another little muff on special teams. In the end, the Hokies still get it out across the 25-yard line, and their quarterback Ryan Willis comes back out on the field. His dad was a kicker in college for Kansas State. So he played some college football and comes from a very athletic family. Ryan, who won the Class 4A state title in Kansas in high school, went to the Jayhawks, transferred from there. Things were not going well for him, for their program. Came here to Virginia Tech, not necessarily to be the starter right away. Josh Jackson hurt. He is the starter now, and he's playing a heck of a game. He goes to Hazelton, his roommate. He's got a very nice connection with Damon Hazelton, another transfer.
Ryan Willis has the correct mindset. He's confident, not arrogant, but very confident in his own abilities. And as a backup quarterback, you have to have that. Not a lot of reps. You got to believe you can make the plays.
He'll swing it out quickly left side, and a good open field tackle for the Yellow Jackets by Jalen Johnson, the guy who recovered the fumble on special teams that set up the tying touchdown. Now a third down. These are the plays where if you're an offense, you start to feel the pressure of at least keeping the ball, not giving it back to the Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, Justin Fuentes, this is the most pressure you'll ever feel as a play caller. You just don't know how many plays you're going to get, how much time of possession you're going to get. So third and shorts are huge.
And a drop snap. Willis is going to try to run for it, and he lunges ahead. Did he stay in bounds? Apparently not. His foot went out of bounds. He thinks he got it, but out of bounds, so he is short. And the drop snap is going to cost Virginia Tech, and there's that pressure. They have to give the ball up. So he stepped out of bounds, apparently.
Let's see exactly where it was when he went out of bounds.
That left foot was blocked from our view. I think that's where they spotted that he was out of bounds. Punt. Kanye Thomas, fair catch signal, and made cleanly for the Yellow Jackets, who do get the ball back. Noon Eastern on ABC. Number 2 Clemson on the road. A traditional ACC rivalry against the Seminoles of Florida State. Streaming live on the ESPN app. Clemson, who looked very powerful in beating NC State last weekend. So maybe the Tigers have sort of switched it into gear now. Second-ranked team in the country. Here you got 2 other ACC teams, Georgia Tech, Virginia Tech. And the Yellow Jackets have the ball back again. Another nice run on first down by Jerry Howard. Very close. And I think they will spot him for a first down. Connor Hansen, the right guard, is down and hurting for Georgia Tech. I don't know if it's his left arm or his shoulder.
He kind of landed awkwardly as he went down to try to cut the defender. There was a big group of people that kind of fell on top of him. He was just laying there a little awkwardly. Hope he's going to be okay.
Charlie Clark, a redshirt freshman wearing number 72, comes in the game in place of Hansen. Had one turnover looming large in this game. 5+ to go, first half. 21-21. And another give to that B-back. This time the Virginia Tech defense is ready. Did get a couple yards on first down. They almost never lose yardage on those traditional run plays. It's just so hard to stuff Georgia Tech behind the line.
It just happens so fast. I mean, he's on you so quickly, and right there, that was about the worst game the fullbacks had tonight. If you look at Howard, he's averaging over 6 yards a carry. Then Mason is averaging over 9.5. So these two guys have been very efficient on those fullback dive looks that Georgia Tech will give you.
Tobias Oliver, the quarterback who has gotten his first start and is really playing well, pitches it quickly, and the Virginia Tech defense in hot pursuit. Will Russell Control out of bounds. Our penalty flag was thrown as that play was ending. Right along the sideline. There have been some big penalties against the Hokies in this first half.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 5.
Wow.
15-yard penalty.
That's a second one of those.
First down.
Second 15-yard face mask penalty against Virginia Tech's defense. This one was Bryce Watts.
Yeah, and look, I mean, he just goes right to the face mask as Lynch tries to get out and lead block. He never lets go. You can't just go right to the guy's face and never let go as you're getting blocked. I understand the frustration of being locked up. That's a good job by the line judge.
I mean, what a terrible mistake that is. That was not the ball carrier. That was just a blocker that he committed the face mask against. Howard straight ahead for a nice gain, and another Hokies player is down and hurting. Maybe Jared Hewitt on the inside. Hokies getting a little thin on defense. 4:07 to go until halftime. 21-21. We'll be back right after this.
Up on the Mazda halftime report, lots to look forward to, including a tough test for the Gators as Florida gets that huge matchup against Georgia, who's the best team in the SEC East. Also a halftime pick'em as Jesse and Joey go head-to-head. Yes, there's a little bit of dissension when it comes to their picks, and also we'll have some highlights from Baylor and West Virginia. Join me, Jesse, and Joey at the half. Now back to Laura Rutledge, Greg McElroy, and the guy calling the game.
Yeah, guy in the studio. Here we go. Second down and 3. And a straight ahead run for a Georgia Tech first down. Inside 4 minutes to go until halftime. Tobias Oliver, who has been in a lot of ways very impressive, the freshman on the offense. 16 first half first downs for Georgia Tech.
Yeah, and that's just such a good job. It's a tough design. I don't know how you stop it, because you look and you are reading that defensive tackle and there's disappearance. So he actually just turns right behind the fullback and follows him. It becomes essentially like a lead play. So Oliver, a nice job filling in for the injured Taquan Marshall so far.
Oliver will cut it upfield and go down at about the 21.
If you're Georgia Tech, you have to be looking at this first half and feeling outstanding about where you're at. You forced a turnover. Your offense has been extremely consistent. You've only had to draw back and throw it one time, and that was on 3rd and long. It's been very efficient offensively running the football for the Yellow Jackets.
And in this part of the field especially, Virginia Tech has had nothing to slow down the offense. That'll be another Georgia Tech first down. Jordan Mason with the carry. And you think about the last few minutes, the muffed punt return for the Hokies. It gave the ball right around this part of the field to Georgia Tech. They took advantage, took it in. A drop snap on 3rd and short. The Hokies were forced to punt. And here comes Paul Johnson's offense right down the field. 7 more running plays. And very happy to let that clock just keep on ticking. Oliver under center. Oliver gives straight ahead. Huge push immediately, and down to the 5. It'll be 1st and goal.
As soon as they get in the red zone, you know what's coming. It's fullback dive. They've run it over and over and over again in this part of the field, and they have yet to even be slowed down whatsoever when they get in the red zone. You can see those are the triple options: the A-back pitch, the B-back fullback dive, and the quarterback keep. It was heavily in favor of the quarterback keep throughout the first 20, 25 minutes of this ball game, but that fullback dive is really coming alive, and coming alive with a lot of production.
Paul Johnson's going to use one of his 2 timeouts. So he just wants to bleed the clock. Takes it all the way down, calls timeout. 1:30 to go here until halftime. Georgia Tech on the verge of going back ahead. Taquan Marshall, the starting quarterback until tonight, pretty pumped up with the way that his teammates are playing. By the way, Monday Night Football this week. Patriots on the road to take on the Bills. 8:15 Eastern on Monday. Simulcast in Spanish on ESPN2, on the ESPN app. Tom Brady maybe foaming at the mouth. Chance to go to Buffalo and play the Bills. He has been pretty good against the Bills, hasn't he?
No,
in Buffalo.
He's good against everybody. there's certain teams though that Tom Brady, I promise you, he circles them. I know he treats every game the same, but the Jets, that's a big game for Tom Brady. He wants to crush the Jets. It used to be the Colts when Peyton Manning was there. The Bills, of course, being an AFC East rival. I mean, he circles a few teams every year, and man, he usually puts together a performance for the ages.
Buffalo's one of them. What a first half we've had here in Blacksburg. 1st and goal, Yellow Jackets. After their timeout. Cottrell in motion. Oliver right behind his beat back. Another Oliver touchdown. Wow. 9 plays, 72.
Great design by Paul Johnson. They've run fullback dive over and over again. So you see that Virginia Tech defense squeeze down just a little bit. What do you hit them with? Quarterback sweep with lead blockers out in front. So tough to defend this offense.
PAT. Good snap, good hold. Up and good.
You can see, I mean, look at all the blockers out in front. And he knows exactly where he's going. He's not trying to get to that pylon. He knows it's designed cut up inside. He's not trying to stretch it too wide. It's essentially like a right, it's like almost like an off tackle. And man, did they run it to perfection and have for years for the Yellow Jackets.
Greg, we've seen Georgia Tech go toe-for-toe with Virginia Tech in this game, and Parker Braun, one of their offensive linemen, told me this week, our record is way worse than what we are as a team. He said, we're so much better than this. We've just been shooting ourselves in the foot. He felt like, with some extra time to prepare for this game, that they were in a much better place confidence-wise, and that as a team, they had decided we're going to stop making these little mistakes that lead to losses. You can see the confidence playing out well so far in this game.
Hokies have made the mistakes. Georgia Tech's been basically mistake-free. This kickoff angled a little bit this time, but still returnable. And bringing it back middle with a nice cut to the 25 to the 30. Tackle there, Deshaun McLeese. Gives the Hokies decent field position. They have all 3 timeouts. They have 1:20 on the clock. Remember, Georgia Tech is going to get the ball first in the second half. So this feels like a pretty important 2-minute style drive for the Hokies.
Absolutely it is. And they have 3 timeouts, plenty of time. If you're Ryan Willis and you're going onto the field right now, you just got to think to yourself, I don't need to worry about a touchdown or a field goal or situational awareness. Just get the drive started, something positive so they can get some forward momentum.
Willis takes a snap, a little play fake, pressure comes, and they set up the screen to the tight end. With some good blocking, Keene has the first down, so that's making the start you were talking about.
That's exactly what you want. And I love screens on the first play as a 2-minute drive, because you got to think these pass rushers for Georgia Tech, they're thinking, all right, pass play, I'm going. Screen slows them down.
Keene took a big hit. Now they hand the ball off, and we'll see if the Hokies can get out of bounds. McLeese does. So that was not as positive of a play. In fact, they lost a couple yards. They did get out of bounds. 1:05 on the clock.
Willis has been really good tonight, with the exception of dropping the snap on the last 3rd down, and get some off coverage for Georgia Tech, have some completions underneath.
This time on 2nd down, the Pocket starts to collapse, and Willis will just throw it away. He had a lot of time initially. Nowhere to go with the football. In the end, probably a good decision.
Yeah, Virginia Tech had some verticals called there, and Georgia Tech played very, very soft. Not going to allow them to get over the top for a cheap one. They're in a second and long situation. They're going to try to keep the ball in front and force Virginia Tech to snap the ball as you take a look at Nate Woody, the first-year defensive coordinator for the Yellow Jackets.
3rd and 12 for the Hokies, trying to keep the 2-minute drive alive. The throw, and incomplete right through the hands. Trey Turner had a chance to catch it for a first down, and I don't know what happened.
Throw was just a little.
It was a punt, a booming high punt, with the fair catch made inside the 15. 46 seconds on the clock here in the first half. Those mistakes starting to pile up for the Hokies. By the way, the ESPN app now with ESPN Plus. Get more ESPN and download now. The dropped punt return, the dropped snap that led to a non-conversion on 3rd and short. That drop pass that ended that drive. So the Hokies, who were playing almost perfect offensive football, special teams and offensive mistakes. Savoy, the guy who could not handle the punt, which was a big play. Now Georgia Tech, they're not necessarily designed to go down the field quickly. We'll see what the Yellow Jackets do here with 46 seconds on the clock. Oliver keeps it. Oliver will go out of bounds. First down.
I've been very impressed by this Georgia Tech offense. I mean, Tobias Oliver has played in critical moments throughout this season, but he has been up to the task so far. He's already over 100 rushing yards. He's been efficient with the decision making. He's been understanding of the situations within the game. He's converted on 3rd and longs. I mean, he's been very good so far in the first half.
Oliver is going to keep it again. Right side running, nowhere to go this time. That was his 25th rushing attempt of the first half. If he keeps up that pace, this will be an all-time record-setting night for most rushes by one player in Georgia Tech history. We got a long way to go, but he's on pace for 50 rushes in a single game.
And none of them have been real explosive runs either. It's been 4 yards, 3 yards, 8 yards, 9 yards, occasional 12-yard, maybe 13-yard thrown in there, but it's been very methodical, and that's exactly how Paul Johnson wants it as they head to halftime.
They will have the ball to start the second half, and I'm sure Georgia Tech is thrilled with the way that that first half went on the road here in Blacksburg. 28-21 is the score. Virginia Tech, before they head in, quick talk from Justin Fuente, and now they'll go to the locker room alongside Jesse and Joey, my great friend.
They get that A-back a little bit more involved in the second half, but they were very efficient in the first 30 minutes of this ball game, averaging over 5.5 yards per carry.
And that offense will be on the field as we start the second half. Hokies have to kick it off. Another touchback. They do that just about every time. Georgia Tech's offense back on the field. Let's go down to Laura.
Georgia Tech head coach Paul Johnson, Dave, said, look, Tobias Oliver has been really good. He's like, I'm really proud of him. But he said the real key is the way that we've blocked him. He said we've blocked for him a little differently than we usually would, which has probably thrown them off. He had a little twinkle in his eye when he said they probably haven't seen it before. That was one of the things that Justin Fuente said, is that a lot of times Paul Johnson will have something a little extra up his sleeve, especially when he has more time to prepare. Taquan Marshall, the other Georgia Tech quarterback, would be available. He is healthy, but Johnson told me he'll stick with Tobias as long as he's having success.
Hand off on the first play of the second half. Jerry Howard stopped after a gain of a couple of yards. So what do you think about Paul Johnson's comments?
Yeah, if you look at how they've been blocking it, it's just been more design runs for Tobias Oliver. There hasn't been as many reads between him and the fullback and the pitchman. They've had him on quarterback sweeps with the lead blockers out in front. So it is a little bit of a different look, and it's probably because Tobias Oliver, as a younger player, not quite as comfortable with those meshes in the triple option, but still an explosive athlete with the ball in his hand.
2nd and 8. possession. Oliver keeps. Oliver will go down about a yard short, so it is a third down. Georgia Tech's offense hardly had any of those. Only 5 third down chances in the whole first half, which for them is a low number without a lot of big explosive plays. 3rd and 1.
They've been very good at staying ahead of the sticks. On first down tonight, they're averaging 6 yards a first down. When you have 2nd and 4 in this style of offense, you got everything at your disposal.
It is so hard to stop this offense when they just need a yard. 3rd and 1. Oliver keeps, and he gets that first down. Just a little bit of a surge and a fall forward, and it's 2, 3, 4 yards. They make it look easy.
Let's take a look at this defensive alignment. I mean, it's clearly 3rd and 1, and number 99 is way off the ball. That's Vinny Mahota. Like, he's got to understand what the down and distance is. He's literally a yard removed from the neutral zone, and that left guard, Parker Braun, has a full head of steam before he engages with that defensive tackle.
So the conversion on 3rd down, Oliver almost the same kind of spot there. This time not as much room. Even that, which looks like nothing, is a 3-yard gain.
And it wouldn't be considered a positive play or a successful play unless it's 4 yards or more on first down. But with this style of offense, man, 3 yards still feels pretty good. I mean, as long as you're staying ahead of the sticks and you're not going for 0 or negative yards, you should feel like you're in a pretty good spot, especially recovering with the way you've been able to run it tonight.
This time it was Oliver who came over for the play call from his head coach. 28 rushes already, just a couple minutes into the second half for the quarterback. And he's going to keep it again, spins away. Oliver, what a move. And he will finally go down. That could have been a negative play. He ends up getting a few yards. Bryce Watts got it.
That's a kind of an interesting 3rd and 5 here. Does Georgia Tech drop back and throw it for only the 2nd time tonight?
You want my guess?
No.
No. Oliver, spin, option, pitch. Beautiful timing, first down. Here comes a penalty flag from way behind the play. And you have to think that one is going against the Yellow Jackets. So they convert, but that penalty may well bring this one back. Oliver took a huge
Personal
hit.
foul. Illegal block below the waist on the offense. Number 1, block more than 5 yards downfield below the waist. 15-yard penalty. 3rd down.
So Cersei, the A-back, more than 5 yards down the field. You can't do that.
No, you can't. When you take a look at number 1, here he is right here on the perimeter. And it's close. It's really close.
Very close. The official who threw that flag was way behind the play. That may be a bad break for the Yellow Jackets. And Paul Johnson just saw what we saw. He just saw the replay. And I don't blame him for being unhappy.
I don't think that was 5 yards downfield.
Now, if you ask me what my guess is, yes.
I might drop it back, but Tobias Oliver's made some plays in this situation with his legs.
Yeah, he's not going to throw. He's going to try to run. He broke a tackle. Oliver will get hit hard. He tried to get there, and he spotted, I think, a yard short. Man, he got close. Close enough to where near midfield. I would not be surprised if Georgia Tech goes for it. He got 13, and they keep the offense on the field.
A quarterback draw for Tobias Oliver. Oh my goodness. And you look at the hit at the end. Now Tobias Oliver does not have the cloak of protection because he is not a defensive player, but that to me looks like the crown of the helmet. So that should be targeted by the defender.
And now they're stopping it, and they may have decided upstairs.
The ball carrier is down short of the line of game. Previous play is under review.
So it could be looking at a couple different things, but the spot is what they announce. And Paul Johnson, I think, is still unhappy about that penalty that negated a first down. Will he go for it on 4th down? We're going to find out.
At the review, it was determined number 9 on the defense led with the crown of the helmet. This is targeting defense number 9. 15-yard penalty. By rule, number 9 is disqualified from the game.
So that was just a moment ago. Khalil Ladler, as we suspected, the sophomore who's played a nice game so far tonight, will not be playing anymore. And that is the 4th 15-yard penalty against Virginia Tech in this game. It gives Georgia Tech a first down, and right away straight up the middle for another Yellow Jackets first down. We'll take another look at what was determined to be targeting.
Yeah, and it's very clear. You see Ladler, number 9, the crown of the helmet, the top of the helmet, if you will. That crown's actually been extended. You see him lead into the runner. Now, Tobias Oliver is not a defenseless player. So in order for Ladler to be called for targeting, he has to hit him with the crown of the helmet. He clearly did. It was a good call by the official.
67 yards of penalties on a few very critical calls. Straight ahead, Oliver kept it. Virginia Tech, I don't think they knew where the ball was. That is another Yellow Jackets first down and back into scoring position where they have, I mean, I may be redundant because they've been unstoppable just about everywhere, but particularly this part of the field, they have gone into the end zone at times almost untouched.
And it's mostly been on those runs between the tackles. I mean, it's fullback dive, quarterback lead with the fullback out in front, and quarterback off tackle sweep, where they're still keeping it inside. So they've really been attacking the heart of the defense in this part of the field.
Georgia Tech's offense has just been almost uninterrupted in this game. Oliver inside the 5, reaches forward, and he got it. Touchdown. Tobias Oliver. Virginia Tech's defense has no answer right now.
Making sure that he got in, of course. It's close. That hand is out of bounds. Where's the ball? Where's the ball as he loops around? Right hand is down. Where is the ball? It certainly looks like it crossed the plane, but there was one earlier where it looked pretty clear.
It's a touchdown. The previous play is under review.
All right, hands down. Where's the ball? That looks pretty clear to me. That ball has already crossed the plane. Now,
that's the way it was called on the field, so I would anticipate that the call would remain touchdown.
Well, there it is right there. I mean, the hand is down, and the officials can put things, and the replay officials, they can put things side by side and go literally frame by frame and see exactly where it was. And this is very similar to what we had in the first half on what we thought was a touchdown by Hezekiah Grimsley, but it's close. They ruled the last one short, and Ryan Willis scored a couple plays later with a quarterback sneak. This one looks pretty similar to that. Still have to go back to just such an impressive game plan so far from Paul Johnson. Right before the snap, we're talking about inside. Everything in the red zone's been inside between the tackles. Then he goes to the wide side and finds some running room. All right, hand is down. The ball clearly looks as though it's crossed the plane, Dave.
I've stopped speculating on these just because I mean, I think this year more than ever, it's hard to predict what these replay officials are going to say. And we are preached indisputable, indisputable, indisputable. And I'm not sure that that is always the standard any longer, which is okay.